Let's call this to order. Pledge of allegiance. If we all would like to stand. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Mr. Secretary, would you like to do a roll call?
Yes, Bill.
Present.
Don Cummins.
Here.
Donnie Robinette is here. Jeanette Baker is absent. James Pop. Absent. Jennifer Eccles.
Present.
Jill Hubbard.
Present.
Paul Jockin.
Present.
Jerry Spindler.
Present.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
All right. Do we have any modifications to the agenda?
No. Under consent agenda, I will note that the expenses that I presented on teamwork, there have been 2 checks that were added because bills came in late, and those are in the checkbook, and those will be added to next month's expenses.
Okay. All right. Any committee reports? Oh,
A motion and a second to approve the
all
consent.
right. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move.
Second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Passes. Moving on to the committee reports.
We did not have any.
Nope. Old business?
No old business at this time.
Okay, moving along. New business.
All right, we have 2 different groups that are here to talk to you about grants. I did present in front of you kind of our grant guidelines as a reminder, since the grants are starting to come in quicker. Next month, we'll have 5 grants from the county park and then 1 from the community foundation. So we've got 6 coming up. So just wanted to just provide you that written thing that the grants are indeed intended to spur new tourism, or and preference is given to those that draw visitors from outside the county, create something new, or significantly improve something existing. And I've also provided you with reference the mural grant. This is a breakdown of the 3D elements that could come off of the mural. So we'll talk a little bit more about that once those folks come up and talk. But I think first I'm going to have David Moore come up and give you a little bit about this.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm David Maurer. I'm here representing Hopewell Presbyterian. We're an old established church. Soon we'll be celebrating our 200th year of existence. They're on 144th, just a little bit west of Franklin. And so we've been a small country church, but we're really starting to see impact. And kind of what Kent said, we're looking to basically, we do our annual corn roast. I don't know who's been a part of the corn roast over the years, but it's been very successful in impacting. And the elements of the COVID world caused us to have to change a lot of things. But post-COVID, we have come out of that, and we are now to improve upon something new. We are now, the last, I think, 2 years, we've held the corn roast at the county fairgrounds, and we've expanded to where we served almost 2,000 people last year and almost 5,000 ears of corn. So at the end of the day, we're looking to expand and to improve upon. And so that would be the pivot or the fulcrum I would use to try to basically seek a grant request approval from the board here, as we are asking for $1,000. And that would be also, we would display Festival Country as well on our thank you board as well. Dina Planet, if anybody knows Dean, and Keith Fox, he and those 2 and myself, we serve on the committee to raise money. And most of that money will go right back into the community through all the ministries and all the other community outreaches that we participate. And a lot of it will be used also, some of it will be used to also offset some of the additional costs that we have in the equipment and such. So that's my request. And so if you have any questions, please ask me, and I'll do the best I can to answer them.
Where do you hold this? Do you hold it at the fairground?
We're now holding it at the fairgrounds at Scott Hall.
Okay.
We were doing it COVID, we did drive-through, and then before that, it was kind of tight quarters. We would serve in our basement, which is what maybe held 150 people. And so
Right.
but we really have found ourselves expanded to where we're able to serve more, get more exposure, and to be able to have a greater element of impact.
Right. And what dates do you do this?
This will be July 31st and August 1st.
Okay.
Those are the dates we have planned.
In the past, have you gotten a feel for like how many outsiders come in from
Okay,
other counties or outside of the?
it's a good question, and as I kind of said, we were old school, did things certain ways. We were never really quite that sophisticated to be able to track where our audience comes from. I do know presently we're seeing and hearing a lot of people coming from basically the south side of Indianapolis and some people from northern Bartholomew County and such, but the exact numbers, I have not a clue.
Do you advertise for this event?
We do. We use yard signs throughout. We put in front of our church, we put a vertical sign as well, and the community gets around, through word of mouth, Facebook and such as that. So yes, we do advertise for that.
You said,
And so-
you said Facebook, any of that directed outside of the county specifically?
Well, it depends on our Hopewell audience. I mean, we do, I'm sure, I know it does because I have a Facebook page. I have a pretty decent following and people comment and see that. So yes. So yeah, we do advertise and such. Right now at present, Generations Auto Care, the Graham family, and Fletcher, they're going to be our main corporate sponsors. Found out yesterday, Otterbein, the senior community here in Franklin, they're going to be a sponsor as well. And there's some other organizations that we will be, and we look to seek funds from that will also be sponsoring us as well. But we just not have had final word from them yet. So I want to reserve the right to not share the who's behind those. So
I've been to it before, at least once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Way back, and it's a great event. So my first reaction was, oh, good, it's back.
Yeah.
My second reaction was, if you've had it 66 years in a row without our help, you don't really need our help to pull it off. And as a consequence, that means any money we would give you is essentially a donation to your missions. And I'm not sure that feels like the mission of this organization.
totally understand.
But I think we'd be willing to help you do some marketing to pull in more people and get you more money that way.
Well,
That was actually what I was gonna suggest. If you didn't feel it rose to that level, at the very minimum, we're experts at doing that targeted digital advertising outside the county. We can target Indianapolis and that, and we can do the advertising for you. So that's something for the board to consider.
and I appreciate that, and that would definitely be welcomed.
How
I
much-
guess the caveat going back, are we improving upon, we're looking to really improve upon this year as well. So that would be maybe the sliver of entry point, but again, I want to.
What do you mean by improving other than more people?
We're gonna buy some new equipment, and we gotta remember, our church also moves everything from our Hopewell facility, our small facility, over to the fairgrounds. So we're gonna maybe get a couple new cooling units and such as that, and cooking equipment, and trying to be more efficient to make sure that we are able to do that. So we're trying to use that as the element of improvement.
How many more people do you think you could handle if we helped you get them?
Oh, I think easily we could handle another 500 to 1,000 people, but again, it's such to quantify that and to give you a definite number, I cannot do that.
I have a question for you.
Okay,
Just an idea of how we could help improve the event. A lot of times we want there to be an experience along with the meal. If we were to like purchase cornhole with our
Mhm.
logo on it, would there be room for it? Would you see value in that, or is it more just a dining type of thing?
okay, I'm not at liberty to say that, but I do think there would be a possibility outside of Scott Hall to have that option. But again, I think that would be focused upon the approval of our committee. We have a very large committee that handles a lot of the integral details of what we do. So, and I think in the request, I think you would recognize many of the participants here that are community investors that are very heavily involved in this. So, yes. So, but I do
Again,
think there would be an
I
opportunity.
guess along that line, I guess you're thinking that they would own the cornhole, something else they would have to store, make room for, not that that's that large, but also something they could use throughout the year at other events. I mean,
I think that's something.
our logo on there, I mean, for $1,000, getting our name out there, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would think if, I would be in favor personally, and I'm not the board, but of doing some advertising for them and if they wanted that, if they saw value in it, providing an activity to up the game of
Yeah.
that event.
And that's, I mean, now you got me thinking, but we also sell hundreds of ears of corn outside, so people take it home with them. So I could see a setup like that being able to kind of be a draw and such. If you know Henderson Farms, they're very involved with us. They're all kind of between Franklin and Margarettsville, so they're very involved in helping us as well, so.
We have any more questions or comments?
I have a question of
Yes.
Ken, if we were to market for them, which communities did you say you'd market it to?
Oh, we'd probably go Indianapolis, Columbus, he's already getting the
Mhm.
north and south ends of that. I think we do a little higher radius, probably even the north side. I mean, get a lot of folks from there, so probably a good 1 hour radius.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Do we have a motion?
Well, let me say one other thing before we do it. If we look at the purview of what we as a board are looking to do, it's to bring more people in from outside of the county. And I wasn't even thinking about that, before you brought that up, Ken. Yeah, love you, but I think this, giving money to the church, just as I had the issue with, providing money for wreaths across America, really a worthy cause. But however, if there's a means that we could do that to bring more people in, and I think, an in-kind donation by doing that might be the better course. So, when it comes to donating money or us allocating funds directly to a charitable organization, I have issues with that. But I think if we can find a way to tie that in, that brings people into the community, I think there's a win there. So that'll be the motion that I make. I will.
To authorize me to do advertising for the event, and what do you think, potentially purchase games or leave that part out? Your motion.
I like.
Well, here's a question. Would the games be purchased specifically for, Hopewell Church, or would we be utilizing the money to purchase cornhole boards that could be used at any other event?
They would have them and bring them back each year, and they could use them. So it's.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like, okay, so the
No, we
fair.
wouldn't take them to the next event by somebody else, no. It would
Okay.
be- They would maintain control of them, so.
And I might add, James, I don't want to step on your toes here, but it may be worth a 1 year beta test, if you will, and see if we can see how the numbers increase even for a year.
Yeah. Well, how about this? I'm good with the marketing. That'll be my motion. If somebody else wants to add a motion afterwards, then by all means, go for it and the board can vote on it. But so my motion is that we do an in-kind donation by providing marketing assistance for the event and go from there.
I'll second that, because I think we'll have about $1,000 wrapped up into that. It's halftime
And the actual hard advertising.
Mhm.
Yep. Do you some great advertising.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
so we have the motion in place. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, motion passed.
thank you, and I'll get in contact with, well, yeah,
We'll talk and we'll figure it out. You can.
I got my number.
Exactly.
Everybody's got your number.
I'd like to make another motion.
and motion that's on the floor.
We got another motion over here.
Oh,
I would like to make a motion to authorize Ken to put together cornhole boards that are Festival Country branded and somehow corn branded if they're keeping them for going forward.
I was second.
okay. So that would be in addition to,
Yes.
okay, so the motion would be, is the motion $1,000 worth of marketing?
It's to authorize me to.
Okay.
Purchase some reasonably priced one set of them.
Okay, one set.
With
All
the
right,
logo.
I estimated upon $500.
$500 or less, okay. So the motion is to purchase a set of cornhole boards at Ken's discretion under the cost of $500 with our logo on it. That Hopewell Church would use yearly. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
I'll be the lone dissenter.
Okay. The motion passed.
Okay, thank you
Congrats,
very
Mr.
much.
Miller.
I appreciate it. Take
Thank you for
care.
your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay, our next grant, I'm going to give you a little background before we call them up as well. So they're now called Old Town Greenwood Incorporated. Who has the access to the PowerPoint that they're, Felicia? All right. They brought their own PowerPoint, and I put in front of you, this is Expo Arts, who's done our alleys, who's done the exhibits in our visitor center. And just having some casual conversations with a few of you outside of the meeting. This exceeds $40,000 to have 3D elements coming off it. So if you're not comfortable with that, I'm going to maybe make some suggestions that we maybe pick one or two of the elements and have just less of an expense. But before we get into that, we'll let you talk to them and they can explain all about it, and then you can ask them some questions.
Hi, I'm Megan Yegi. I'm president of Old Town Greenwood, Inc.
And I'm Brad Nemeth. I'm the design chair of our group.
I also did want to mention too that we've got Corey and Scott in here today. They are the building owners of where we're proposing to put this in. So if there are any questions about that, they can answer. We can try to answer to the best of our abilities. So we can go to the next slide, please. I believe that you're all pretty familiar with our organization, so we're not going to dig too deep on what that is now. But what we did want to share today is that we're building on the Restore Old Town Greenwood Foundation with renewed energy and focus really in 2026. We have a new name, as Ken said, updated branding, as you saw before, and a refreshed strategy. So we are a small, mighty team with this big momentum, clear priorities, and some of those are our focus on placemaking and beautification efforts that are going to create visible impact in the community. This is our opportunity to set the tone for what's next, which would be bold, high impact beautification win that helps propel Old Town into its next phase as well. We can go forward with the slide. The mural will be created by acclaimed artist JD Bills. He's an Indianapolis-based artist with a really strong regional following. His work is highly recognizable and featured across several high-profile locations throughout Marion County. We feel that his local recognition up in Indianapolis would give the project built-in reach and visibility, helping draw visitors south from Marion County into Johnson County. And this isn't just public art. It's a destination piece that people will seek out, photograph, and share. The mural will be installed on the south-facing wall of Happy Haunts. The building is located in Markup Plaza with a really highly visible location. It directly faces City Center Park, creating a strong visual connection between the art, the playground, the green space, and the businesses, hopefully drawing foot traffic through all of those things, help connecting that in. I'm going to read this from the artist. This was part of her proposal, but regarding the theme, tone, and Happy Haunts connection, the design leans into a magical forest at dusk, mythical creatures, warm lantern light, and an enchanted sky. The working title is Guardians of the Gate. It feels imaginative, family friendly, and photo ready while still giving a subtle nod to the whimsical, spooky magic personality of Happy Haunts without being super Halloween specific. It's got a photo friendly layout. So the left creature, right creature, and center archway naturally create three strong photo op zones. The 3D elements invite people to sit or lean, making the mural interactive in a simple, accessible way. For lighting, the circles that you see there, functional lantern lights and glow will help the mural stand out both day and night, giving it visibility and presence even after sunset. The 3D elements would be the tip of the cap antler, the wolf's tail, and the archway would all be 3D. The archway is actually, so I'm going to come up here and point, sorry, what we do it. So we're talking the tip of the antler here. The wolf's tail, which I had AI create this so you could kind of get a feel for what that really looks like. The way he posed it, this is actually a loading dock for them, so that archway is set back a little bit. It's hard to see on this, of course. So those are all going to be part of the 3D elements, and the lanterns, of course, will be fully functional. I think I caught all of that. All right, next slide. So the city has identified this area as a priority for infill and activation. They've been talking about this area a lot in their Udo plan. So we have the opportunity to anchor future growth with a compelling visual draw. It's located right next to a few empty lots with some serious potential. We were joking around, well, not even joking. We think it'd be a really good idea for a boutique hotel to go right there. So just some ideas. That all said, this is currently an underutilized space with strong potential. Next slide, please. We didn't include this in the application that you saw, but wanted to highlight it. One of the additional ways we hoped to fund this project and future beautification projects is through an event called Drink and Dine for Design. It will be a multi-week, we're calling it right now, a mural crawl that encourages people to eat local while investing in public beautification. And I wasn't just trying to suck up to Paul with the picture here. I don't know. That is there because one of his managers actually came to us with this idea. He said he really wanted to help and really liked the concept. I mean, this isn't a new concept, right? The dine-arounds are really popular in other areas. We don't have one in Greenwood, so it's kind of a win-win for us. But we see a strong opportunity to align this event with Festival Country by including your name as the featured sponsor, just as being part of the mural sponsor, it would just automatically going with this. This campaign, of course, would bring visitors into Old Town, encourages repeat business over several weeks, highlights local restaurants, bars, and gathering spaces in a way that feels authentic and experience-driven. The participating businesses will then give a portion of their proceeds during this event to help fund the remainder of our project here. So, and our goal with the Drink and Dine for Design is for this to become an annual event, creating a sustainable funding stream for beautification while continuing to drive foot traffic, tourism, and awareness for the area year after year. And we do feel that with Festival Country's involvement, the event could grow into a signature experience that would support both placemaking and the broader tourism goals of Johnson County. You can go ahead to the next slide. Sorry, this is very dense with words on this slide, but we did want to give, you know, a breakdown, and Ken said that he gave you a further breakdown as well for some of the elements. So the mural itself being the $20,000, the interactive elements that you're seeing, the lighting, running, the electricity, permitting, those cool 3D elements are all fall into this, and then just some of the additional funding needs, some marketing, placard, things like that. And then we just wanted to talk about the future a little bit. I know that we want to focus on this tonight, but I did talk, you know, in the beginning that we do want this to be a kind of snowballing opportunity, and we really see this being able to happen. Hopefully, we've got plans. We've already identified another alley on Main Street that we're really excited to potentially activate next. This, you know, this design, this is really meant that we're pitching now is really meant to be family friendly. It's across from the park, you know, its location. Kind of what we're working on next, hopefully with an alley activation will be more geared towards adults, doing some things on Madison Avenue as well as some community events. So we've taken the feedback that Ken's given us about what works and what we're looking for to not only just create this design that we're working on now, but think for the future as well. So we can add, you know, some different elements around Old Town. What did I miss? Okay.
I appreciate all the hard work that it took to go through that. I can see the legwork for sure. So does anybody have any questions or anything to clarify?
I have a question. The seat. So I've worked in the past with some high density foam stuff. What is the expected lifespan of?
I'm glad you asked. So I worked back with Expo Arts, and she said pieces will last longer than the paint on the building. In fact, we've had some pieces that are so old we can't even guesstimate what the lifespan is on them.
Okay.
We're thinking upwards of 20 years.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
Expo's
legit.
done all of our alleys and stuff, and their stuff is.
Yeah.
pretty acceptable.
So you mentioned the park, that's kind of down the street a little bit, that Franklin Street, Lincoln, I'm sorry. Lincoln Street. Now, right across the street is another like open lot. Is that part of the park? Is that city property? Do you know?
I believe
It's as far as I understand.
It's one thing that they have.
The grassy one, not the gravel one.
There's
Yeah.
I think they're both cities. There's two empty lots right there that they want to
One's paved,
infill.
there's some gravel, and then there's some grass.
Mhm.
One thing, they have that shown in the unified design ordinance, the comprehensive plan, they've been targeting for what to put in there for infill. Condos, we've said a hotel, you know, because we do have a lot of large gathering spaces in downtown Greenwood for weddings, Graphic Peak building, the building in the old Oddfellows Hall, Folktale Greenwood. So a lot of big places like that would be a perfect place for a hotel.
Yeah.
But it's a great, there's City Center Park, there's Old City Park, and this is kind of in between the two.
Right.
Greenwood has developed plans. They've recently redone parts of Market Plaza to make it easier to walk. Which connecting the two parks. So it's kind of we think it's a pretty good location for a mural that's in between those two, really good parks.
Yeah, my only thought was whatever risk there would be if something would go up right on the corner and then it would just block the view. And I don't know how far out to the corner to the street it would go, but hopefully it'd be set back if anything was built far enough.
Mhm.
You still get a good view of the
I
mural.
think, and especially from what we've been able to see, nothing in the city parking lot, but they'll probably keep that as city parking lot. So if you're coming from the east towards it, it's there. It'll be, quite for anybody to see, and it'll draw people into that area.
Yeah.
We feel like this is a design with 3D elements that we've not seen anywhere else in Indiana. There might be other places around the country, but that have elements where you can sit, touch, sit on them, touch them. I just think it's kind of a unique thing that might draw people in.
So, and I'm from Greenwood and I love what you guys are doing. I mean, excited about all this. I love seeing this type of thing going on in Old Town Greenwood. I do think that amount might be a little tough for this board to approve right off the bat. So I kind of like Ken's idea of maybe scaling back a little.
Yeah.
To make it a little more digestible at first.
Yeah, so if you look, the Wolf Tail, which she's used AI to bring out, that's really only $5,300 plus install. So we could probably, I think that alone would be the interactive impact. And I think I'm proud of them for taking our feedback that a mural itself doesn't draw tourism, but the 3D thing, something that'll encourage them to get their picture. Like at the State of the City address today, the mayor was talking about, and Eric Luger's introduced him and said his office looks down at the Veterans Alley and he sees people taking their picture there all the time. Same with the Artcraft Alley and the Coogee Alley. So I think this does that same thing. So I would definitely recommend funding some type of 3D thing, and I think that would be good. And then to encourage this project along, maybe a partial donation towards the 20,000 painting. And then they can do some fundraising of their own. So I think that might be a good compromise, but I'll let you take over. And is there something else?
Before you leave the podium, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, in terms of the amount and, this group being able to swallow that amount, I mean, it's not that dissimilar from the couple alley projects in Franklin. Is that correct?
Yeah. So those two alley projects, we basically funded half. And now those were like a $30,000 contribution match 30, but those were also overhead things. So I think, could you go to the last slide? I think when we get to the point where we get to that middle one, I think that for me would be a slam dunk for 30,000, 35,000 contribution from each side and make it happen. But I think this mural is a good launching point, and it's ultimately up to you how much you want to match. But I think at the minimum, we're looking at the total for the project being about 20,000 for the artist and about 6 or 7 for that 3D element. So we've got 27 that we'd like to somehow get that funded and do something great for Greenwood. We've put a lot of assets into downtown Franklin. It'd be nice to spread that love.
What's the expectation for money raised? Local businesses and everything else.
That's a really good question that I don't have a strong answer for. We weren't sure what to expect coming in here. We know what we asked for. That is even at half of that, that's a lot of money for us to raise. We are a very small organization with about 6 of us doing the legwork, but we're really, as we mentioned, have good hopes for the restaurant crawl. But with it being the first year, we don't really have a good basis for that. We're also planning or hoping to do kind of a gala fundraiser in the fall. To either raise, it'd be great if we had money toward all that taken care of and we could use that for something else, but we do have thoughts on that. We've been actively seeking corporate sponsors as well. So I don't have, just transparently, I don't have a good timeline. Of course, I'd like to get this done tomorrow, but I don't know how realistic that is. I would love to get it done before the end of the year, and I do think that's.
But you think you need to raise funds before it would start? Or would begin?
We would have to raise the funds
You'd have to,
for it, yeah.
So looking on the quote, the quotation expires 1/1/26, so
No, that's not accurate.
It's not accurate? Okay.
It'd be fine.
I guess then the follow-up question would be, what was the process in selecting the artist? Is there another artist that would be half the cost or different ways to be able to reduce those? Even the lanterns, that's the highest priced item, if you cut that in half.
Yeah, most of this was built off of feedback from Ken saying we had gone into this originally kind of just thinking, oh, we'll just do a mural and it was going to be a lot smaller scale. Ken said like, well, if you want to get something like, let's do it. I don't mean to put words in your mouth, so correct me if I'm wrong, but like, let's make this, it's got to be a tourist attraction. Just a mural's great, but it's not going to draw people in. So we're like, what can we do to really draw them in? Which is where, and then we talked to 3D Expo. And they worked with the artists just to kind of come up with things like what are really cool ideas.
Right.
They're the experts of what's going to bring things in. I truly don't think we selected the artist. He was a gentleman that I had worked with before. He had created some Greenwood specific art for us already. I just know his work from being around Indy. As far as price per square footage, it's pretty on par with anything else we've looked at otherwise. So there wasn't, to be transparent, a lot of vetting of you give us a design and you give us a design. Like we just felt like he really worked with the aesthetic of what the building owners were hoping for with making this kind of a family friendly, like illustrative thing. So we felt like it hit the mark in that way. And it's just, someone local. We are selling that the Greenwood prints, not that we're making a ton of money off of it, but the prints and the Greenwood art that he made, we are selling that and using the proceeds from that to fund this is kind of like a cool marketing way to get people involved in that as well. So that's where that artist came from.
And frankly, in downtown Greenwood, getting a building owner who they've owned the building or families owned the building since it was built. So for over 60 years. So frankly, having a building owner on board is kind of rare in downtown Greenwood sometimes. So we're elated to have a blank canvas like that as well.
When I first saw the total amount, that was kind of took me aback. And now I see almost half of that is from the lighting.
More than half of it.
Yeah, that's
And
that seems like an area to work on
I
right
mean,
there.
we definitely would love it. I love it conceptually, but that does seem like a good, or we could have 2 lights instead of however many, all of them lit up. I definitely think if we're gonna start cutting things, that would be a good place to do.
Yeah, Don,
it's so-
Don, if I can just,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we're losing sight of like, the minimum would be the mural itself. That's the painting is $20,000.
Right.
So this is only the 3D elements. And what I was talking about was
Yeah,
the 5,000 for the tail. And regarding the lights, that would be like handmade specific things. You could always just go to Menards and get a type of lantern and put that. I'm being serious. Like you could do that for another 1,000. It wouldn't be cool, homemade designed, but there are ways to do this and still make it pretty cool.
Yeah, they were actually gonna fabricate the lanterns to look like, his painting and go in there very, very subtle to his design. So that's definitely somewhere we could lose it. If we have to make cuts, that would be.
So I guess, and on to that is, for the lanterns, the last sentence says price does not include electrical hookups or new wires run to lanterns.
That's correct. I did go a little bit above that quote.
Okay. So I guess, would that go through his business? How would that be, I guess, footed, and does he, I guess the owners.
Well, the utility bills, yeah.
Yeah.
Are those yours?
Question is, to knock that price off of that, what if I take that off myself, with like solar lights or something to shine them?
Yes. So
Or something like that to help this process.
yeah, I think
Something I can do, or I could probably take care of getting the wiring from the papers. Like they said, we bought something would look nice. I mean, that'd be forward to that. You know, this could also go down and make it happen.
It's certainly being south facing, solar could work pretty well.
That's kind of fine. It's just a thought I have, and I'm really that
Thank you.
push this along to make it better than the bill.
Yeah, I think the reason why the Franklin projects moved so quickly is you had buy-in. It wasn't just our dollars. And what you have here is them raising money, the building owner offering to take this light charge off and do a reasonable alternative. So I
We
think,
got rid of the light charge and we gave them money for one of those elements and half of the painting. That might work.
yeah, really, you could, the cat, after you take out the lanterns, you've got the wolf tail and the cat antler, and then installation would be, that wouldn't even be the 2,000 because you're not installing the lights. It would probably be 700 or so. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to fund everything else, that's what, probably $12,000. So.
But before the before the board decides tonight, I wanted to remind, this kind of made me think of a project. There's something here in Johnson County called Leadership Johnson County. Some of you have probably done it. When I was on that, we actually they did the mural there on Main Street across from like Board and Brush and Smitty's and all that. And that leadership class did that for free. So if you don't get the answers you're looking for here or get enough, that might be an organization to reach out to help get you guys over the finish line with maybe some labor and some help with that too. So just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely ask the
Yeah.
artist if that's something he'd be open to doing. I know sometimes, I don't know how the funding works on that. I know that that's still a lot of labor. For them, that was through the Johnson County Community Foundation.
Because what we did is we raised enough money to pay the artist and they drew it and then they put numbers where everything was. And then the class came and we filled it in with the colors of, like, number 2 was red. So we filled in the paint and all that. And so it saved it kind of beautified the city, but also helped, reduce the cost and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that's just another option. I'm not saying that we're for it or against it at this point. I just want to let you guys know, if you're not looking at what you're getting for here, I would definitely reach out to them. If you've never been through the class, go through it. Especially being on. Yeah. You're the best class, right?
Yeah, and it was funny, the Johnson County Community Foundation actually
Yeah.
presented to us today. But Amy was our friend Amy, who actually volunteers with us as well, was the artist for that project.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Not to sidetrack, but I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Thanks, yeah.
Do you guys feel like with the adjustments that have been discussed, you could sell that to your own board? And the artist?
I
Because-
don't know that.
Because I'm looking at, you came in for this, we're saying maybe you should do this instead. I appreciate what Paul has to say, that we spent way
Yep.
more than this on Franklin alleys. It's not exactly an alley, but it's half an alley. So,
Well, and if I can, I don't know if this is okay or not. It's not an alley like that, but it's huge. It's bigger, I think, than the alley. So while it's not exactly an alley activation, it's definitely along those lines and definitely very photographic, excuse me, like that. And just the alley activations are all great. This is so unique, as Brad mentioned before. Never have I ever seen something where the 3D elements are coming off the wall and you can come sit in and be immersed in the mural like that, which you can't do in an alley activation. This is
And we would
different.
definitely, we would definitely
Yeah.
be hitting the Indianapolis news stations and all that, and further out to, say, hey, this is going on in Greenwood, thanks to festival country, so.
I mean, this is something that is definitely interesting to me. I'm wondering if we can phase it in somehow. Because I feel like the lights do encapsulate, the project, but I don't know if that necessarily would happen on the first run. Is there a way that we could almost phase that in where the lights would come in maybe next year?
I
Or-
think we've talked about the lights we handled by them. So
So we're just gonna stick with, okay.
the building owner is willing to take care of the lights. I think we have a
And then
solution for
If
that.
the artist says, this is would he have any objection to that? No?
Just lights, I can't imagine.
Nope,
So,
okay.
It's gonna paint it the same regardless.
Okay.
We would might have to work with him. We'll just have to figure out how to make that work, because if we're still trying to predict
Perfect.
where he's painting lanterns, like, what kind of does that look like, but does he just paint it? We just put something more simple in the middle that
Yeah.
illuminates. So these are all, of course, the lanterns, these circles, so it's not
Right.
a normal light, but if you just put something very simple in the middle where it's the brightest and then let that reflect on the circle, I can't foresee.
He's very.
I don't think he cares. He gets to do his mural and I don't think
Right.
that's gonna mess with the integrity of what he's doing. So I could check with him, but I can't foresee that being a problem.
With all the changes that we've discussed here tonight, what's the actual dollar amount you're looking for? From us?
They would, can you go back to that slide? So what they have to account for is $20,000 for the artist. And then, like I said, we've got about 12,000 in remaining 3D elements that haven't been X'd out. So that's like about $32,000 approximately.
That's
and
the full ask to us.
That's the full
Full
amount for the
amount total.
that's the full amount for the project. They originally wanted half of the full amount. Now you're free to decide how much of the 32,000 you're interested in funding. You could go half, you could go more.
Do we have any ROI on what some of the alleys have, the number of people that have come in? Like, what can we expect, bang for our buck on this?
Yeah, so we ran Placer data when we did our alleys in Franklin, and we found that the visitation increased, and just the social media, as Eric Luger said at State of the City, every prom picture and every engagement picture, like you see those alleys like everywhere on social media. And I can just say from my standpoint of having to build campaigns for our co-op campaigns was Visit Indiana. They love the alleys. They're like, that's something unique to your area. And like, and in the same way, 3D, that's going to be unique to our area. We don't have enough assets that differentiate ourselves from other communities. Anytime that we can build stuff that doesn't exist somewhere else, it can only add to our offerings and give us more to promote.
Are you guys able to raise half of this? If we were to make a motion to fund half?
Yes, I don't know how long it will be, but our board has decided, this is the primary fundraising goal for us moving forward. So this is gonna be what our organization puts our, besides other operating costs, but this is it
Yeah.
moving forward. So we'll
That's what I'm
look at it
thinking.
until it's done.
We've already been reaching out to larger businesses. We've, a lot of our smaller businesses are aware of what we're doing too, but reaching out to larger businesses to, say, hey, you want your name on the thing to, support
Yeah.
this. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make a
So,
motion.
yeah, I love it.
Are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna make a motion, yes.
Okay.
So with your willingness to make adjustments, I think we would like to do a little more than half to help you with what's left. So I make a motion to grant out $20,000 towards this project.
With the condition that the 3D elements that were not X'd out, that being the lanterns, that those remain part of the project.
I will second that motion.
Okay, so I'm gonna need you to repeat that again. So the motion is to, what was the dollar amount? $20,000 towards this project.
On the condition that the cat antler and the wolf tail remain part of the ultimate carrying out of the project.
Okay, as long as the cat antler and the wolf tail remain part of this project.
There you go.
You don't hear that.
There we go.
You don't hear cat antlers.
And tail.
And the organization's able to raise the rest of the funds.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, congratulations.
Thank you all.
I would even suggest something on Saturday nights during the cruise-ins at the suds to raise some money.
That's right there, yeah, so.
There's a few thousand people there
Yeah.
every weekend.
They donate a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll ask you to come forward.
I mean,
Thank you for
It's-
spending your evening here, coming in.
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for.
See the big check before,
Well,
goodness.
It's the whole thing.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
You know the drink. You want the business owners in? Please in here.
That doesn't need to be. Now you really have to put the lights up.
Bring up the electrician.
They've been owners for 60 years, we family. It's like, You run
Thank
that
you.
happy hunt? That, or do you lease it out to somebody?
No, it's a.
Oh, gee, okay. Okay.
I mean, you got me.
When I first saw it, I was like,
Hey, Ken. Okay, I thought maybe you just leased it out to somebody.
Did I say it incorrectly?
No, you said it right.
Okay, okay.
I see it.
Thank you. Thanks for investing in the Greenwood. Yeah.
Got a good location there.
That was so good. I feel a lot better.
Wanted to see it.
Money and stuff.
Okay, Don, you have the treasurer.
I do.
All right, on to the treasurer's report.
I will read the treasurer's report on behalf of the absent treasurer. For the tax period December paid January, the Johnson County Treasurer's Office collected $71,547. $71,547.78, which was up from $64,814.05 for the same month in 2020. This says 4. I think that needs to be corrected to 2025. For the year, collections were, oh, no, that's right. That was December for 25 payable January 26. It was referenced to 2024. For the year, collections were $1,021,467.93, our second best year, and about 30,000 from our record in 2024, which was the eclipse year. At the end of December, our checkbook balance was $553,744.48. Expenses presented in the month of January totaled $95,575.69. In January, there were 2 deposits which totaled $322,862.39, with $4.69 paid in interest. At the end of January, our checkbook balance was $749,834.38. Expenses presented in the month of February totaled $178,558.23. These details have been shared on Teamwork for Review. Claims are scheduled to be paid following tonight's board meeting.
Thank you, Don.
This is harder than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, Jeanette makes it look easy.
But when when you put a dollar and cents amount at the end of a sentence with another period, there's like a bunch of punctuation and then.
I'm gonna do it like a TV script where it spells out the words.
Just spell it out.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
like we'll even have a teleprompter for you
It
now.
would be good, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Young.
Thank you, John Young, Board Attorney. Good evening. Nothing on the legal end to report. I am aware that the article or the Daily Journal ran an article essentially saying the Gatling Gauntlet legislation is dead. I'm not going to stand here and say it looks promising right now, but nothing is over until the session is over. I have continued to speak with Charlie Hiltunen, who is lobbyist up there. He represents the National Guard. So he is still looking to try and find a home for this if possible. But it just due to the short session, lack of time, other priorities the legislature has, I would not have my hopes up, but we will fight till the end.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you. I guess looking at worst case scenario, how long are we willing to wait? I mean, let's say 4 or 5 years.
I think the better question is how long is the park going to wait?
Right.
Because the park is looking at that as, 20, 30 acres of real estate that is not being utilized for anything right now.
Right.
And the county and the commissioners very much want to see this bill or something happen. Okay, so we can keep this here. But at the end of the day, if the park board decides we have to move on to something else, then there's not much we can do about it. Now, I do believe they will be sensitive to the fact of what the CVT has invested in there. And I mentioned this to the park. And unfortunately, I think if the Gatling Gauntlet had been opened for a little bit longer to attract maybe some competitive groups, that could have turned into actually hosting competitive events there. So the one option is always, if you can find groups, even private groups, that would want to host an event where they would be responsible for the insurance. They would be responsible for getting waivers from participants. They would staff the event. They would have, medical providers there if somebody was injured. It could still be utilized. But the intent of the CVT was always that it wanted it to be a place for all of the public to be able to enjoy. And if we could start getting events there, then that would just be a bonus. So that's where we stand right now. The park hasn't made any decisions in that regard. But it's really going to be more of, I don't know if it's so much how much longer the CVT wants to do anything. You paid your money. You've done what you committed to do. It's how much longer the park wants to have that land sit idle. Now, on some better news, the park has, and I always compliment the CVT for helping the park with its events, but it is generating tremendous revenue. And the current board is very interested in several bigger projects, construction projects. And one thing that is on the table again that they're discussing are cabins, tents. I mentioned again getting a lodge there, some sort of housing, which obviously could generate innkeeper's tax revenue. So we'll see about the Gatling Gauntlet, but they are looking at it. And with all of the activity, I mean, I don't know if people understand how many events the Hoosier Horse Park has, the barrel races. They just sold out a show with like 470 participants on the first day that they advertised that event was open. So I do believe that the board is seeing more of a need to have some sort of housing. Well, I shouldn't say housing, but something there where people can stay and not just bring a camper or bring a tent. So I would look at that as a positive thing. And that's something that Ken, and even when John Wales, the former chairman of the board, was on the board, we're working with the park on. And I do believe that they're going to continue to have those discussions.
Thank you. I mean, that's I wasn't expecting all that news. Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I'm aware of how active the Hoosier Horse Park is. Are they going under renovation? For some reason, I thought I heard that they are going to be renovating the stables or something.
So I don't know if it's Dunn Arena, but also recall that the county commissioners bonded money for the camp store. So now there's a camp store at the park and several other park projects. One of part of that project that the commissioners did is also renovating. I don't know if it's Dunn Arena, but the park is constantly improving its facilities there. One of the arenas are installing, very, very nice fans for the folks that are participating.
They built a new barn. They built a couple new barns that added stalls. They have a big outdoor arena, and they're talking about maybe covering that outdoor arena. I don't know if that's even, the board has talked about it, but I've just talked to Brad Weiser about that. So.
Yes, and also just it is a little confusing, but it is that the county commissioners own the property along with Johnson County Soil and Water. The park does not actually own the property. They are the department that operates and maintains the parks and recreation facilities. And I say it's co-owned. That does not include Independence Park, which is solely owned by the county. So, but yeah, they are, they are busy at the park, and they need to be, because they are I mean, the events keep growing. They're frankly running out of dates. And we're also in discussions. I know at the last board meeting, I believe Christy Howe, who is the recreation director at the park, was going to be having a meeting with the gentleman from the Renaissance Festival, because that is still something that they are very much interested in, is essentially moving the Renaissance Festival to the county as their home base, including all of their equipment, guaranteed shows for a number of years. So that is something that I haven't followed up with Christy. I think she was only having this meeting sometime this week or something, but that is also in the works.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, it's back-to-back weekends, is that right? Okay. Well, I appreciate all that. That's good news.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Any other questions? All right.
I think we're good. All right. To the president's report, I don't have too much except to add that me and Ken met with Johnny Marlin, the owner of the Ark, which is in Greenwood. It's under construction. It's off of Stones Crossing and 135, an area that is booming, and it's going to be an indoor, I guess, multi-use. So it's going to be for training basketball and volleyball local residents, and on the weekends have local, regional, and national tournaments. And he mentioned that it's going to be open in June of 2026, and they'll have, I guess, events 50 out of the 52 weeks there. So that's going to create a lot of, I guess, that overnight stays, especially during the winter months, that it actually matters. So, but other than that, Ken?
All right, before we get into the PowerPoint, I did want to mention that I just received an email from Taxman. They are planning their first ever Tour de Bargersville, a community bike ride, and they've offered us a $1,000 sponsorship opportunity. So as I do any other things, I bring that to you, and if you're interested, you can discuss it among yourselves, or just bringing it forth to you.
You said it's sponsorship?
Yeah, for the Tour de Bargersville.
They have any?
When's it gonna happen and how long?
This summer, it goes from Taxman, winds through town, stops at places like Mallow Run, and ends at Pizza and Libations, where riders will finish with a celebration beer.
Cool.
Who's the entity that is hosting it?
Taxman.
Taxman?
Who also owns Pizza and Libations?
Taxman.
They don't own Mallow Run, so I guess they're going someone else on this run.
They give an estimate on attendance? Or...
250 is what they estimate for the first year.
The drinking comes after the riding.
For some.
What if you get to Taxman early enough?
Well, it starts at Mallow Run, right?
Starts at Taxman,
Taxman.
goes to Mallow Run, and comes to Pizza and Libations. Those are some windy roads, man.
Flying Road is a death trap. Yeah.
I guess, do we have a motion?
Said it's 1,000.
Yes, that's the level if we wanted to get in.
Yeah, I would move we sponsor for $1,000 Tour de Bargersville. Is that what they're calling it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the $1,000 request as a sponsorship for Bargersville's first Tour de Bargersville. All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All oppose, nay? Nay. All right.
Were you a name?
No, I was
Oh.
like, yep.
Oh, okay. I
It's
did hear a
going.
noise. Okay.
All right, that was a quick grant there. So back to Ken's report.
Okay, so just wanted to let you know the plazas in Trafalgar and Edinburgh are progressing. The actual structure in Trafalgar has been ordered. They're finishing some site work, and that could be installed this spring. Edinburgh's, they hit me up for some recommendation letters. They're seeking some grants, so they hope to do that by fall if all goes well. Everything for the Fun Plaza near the courthouse in Franklin has been delivered, so it's ready to be set up. And John, instead of working, will be out playing most days. We got a Rockport study that was provided by Visit Indiana. It showed that we had a 5.2% growth in 2024. Just note that the folks, before we were a tourism agency, there was a Rockport study and it showed we were losing 0.6% market share. So you can see that those efforts to market and do product development pay off. You have an annual report that is in, and the activities guide will be in next week. Sorry, it wasn't here in time to show it to you this meeting. Again, our website, people continue to come for festivals and events. Funny that they mentioned Renaissance Fair because that's the second most viewed thing, and that fair is not going to happen for a few months. A lot of media. Mackenzie continues to do a great job with her column, and we've just secured a spot in Franklin Magazine where she'll be doing a column for them as well.
Excellent.
Some Placer highlights. Johnson County received 1.5 million trips from people who live at least 50 miles away. So I had always said no to marketing in Chicago, thinking it was too far away. But when Placer data showed that we were actually getting some good footing from Chicago, we did some marketing there, and it resulted in 7.8% more visits from that area.
Student body had been, I do have so many students from the Chicago area, Andrew, they're not going at 65.
But the Placer data judges by where a phone normally lives.
It doesn't count anyone passing through, so they would have to exit and spend time in our destination, but it's possible. Yeah. You can see our top 5 markets. You can see that the number of times people visited and their dwell time both increased. And here's what I like at the end there. We talked about funding First Fridays. And so we explained to you that the reason everything's failed before was they tried it for a couple months, it didn't catch on, and they abandoned it. You can see over the course of 3 years how that's increased every year. So that's just the value of us putting our resources and our marketing behind that and making it successful. So I was really pleased with that highlight. Smith Travel Report shows we're the only ones in the 50s for the last 28 days. So pretty strong showing. And that's our account balances. So if everybody that was present could sign the minutes, and Don.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm just curious on the innkeeper's report that came out. I wasn't on the board then, but in July, it looked like the largest month ever. Is there some explanation, or do you have some comments about why you think that might have happened?
This was a strange year. I've never seen a year that was so like up and down. We had that great month, and it was followed by one that wasn't, or preceded by one that wasn't. So if Jeanette was here, I'd ask her, and otherwise I'll ask Jason. Like you follow like the hotel trends a little closer. Any thoughts?
So downtown Indy's events, obviously downtown Indy is growing because they have so much need for having big events. So that overflow definitely trickles down massively. Now, in terms of July, Columbus and Bloomington have events along with Indy, and just the funnel comes right to Johnson County. There's just not too many places to go, especially south of Columbus. It goes Seymour and then Louisville. So Columbus has had some big sporting events that they've absorbed, along with Indy having a lot of those events that have drawn a lot of people. So,
and I'll also mention, in addition to the funnel helping us out, we're also helping ourselves out. Every dollar we spend is matched with $1 by Visit Indiana. And we targeted Cincinnati, we targeted Chicago, we targeted Louisville, and a lot of those areas. And we really, Tracy from Farm Girl texted me one day and said, "Why am I seeing so many people from Cincinnati in my store? Are you targeting that market?" And I was like, yes, we are. So what we're doing is working as well. And maybe we're even helping Columbus and Indy out.
That's great.
So sign everything. And then there's a card that you would please sign.
Yeah. It's down here.
Jason, I go ahead.
Anybody not get it?
I think I'll sign.
Sign reconciliation. Aren't you an officer?
He's the vice president.
Vice President.
I go ahead and just designate that for tonight's meeting, to go ahead and sign reconciliation.
Okay. Okay, just have to say it. All
Just
right.
designate-
Can you do that, Don?
Yes, I've been designated to sign the reconciliation as an officer to replace the treasurer who is not here.
Perfect.
Had to get
All
out.
Thank you,
right.
Don.
Anything else? Nope. All right. I move to motion to join. Do I have a second? Adjourn. All right. All opposed?
Oh, there you go.
Nobody opposed.